Now I'm starting this session with you. It's 40 minutes past 6 local time here in Ipswich, Suffolk, UK. I'll close these Streamlabs desktop controls. You can see what I'm doing. I'm going to paste something into the Copilot here. This is essentially a cosmic OS stack. Blockchain smart contract invocation. Temporal dual system architecture. Where would this go? Copy the message. Put it in the notes. We can put a bit of a spacer in the notes here. So when we're scrolling up and down. We know where we are. We have something here. Which we can look at in the Microsoft Edge browser. So we have the seed. And we have the islands. CLI rituals. I have a couple of spaces between each item like that. Yeah. So I'll put this is unless you don't know this is markup. I mean, I only just found out about this recently, so I'm not trying to patronize you, whoever you are who's ever listening to this. Just showing you what I'm learning about. Best practice, really. Keep everything nice and clean. See, I said 2 in between 1, 2. 1, 2 is like that. So a couple of hashes will look nice in the markup. Nice clean code. 1, 2, couple of hashes. Nice clean code. Okay. You know, the base image is not that, it's Debian. Yeah, let's have a dev container JSON. It's only going to work for the markup if you don't have a space, so if you did that, then there would just be 2 stars, so it needs to be right up next to the thing. In fact, I don't think that would work. I think it's got to be the text like that. So I really am just at the very beginning of this journey. So we've got this bullet. So you can go to, and I've got a nice link here, up at the top. Yeah. There's lots of other places you can go. This is a nice place to get your smileys from. Also, we could search while it's opening Google. We can go to this Google Chrome browser, and I've got open it as Dbug Pro as well. So you see this is dbugpro@gmail.com. We go to the Google AI Studio, and we're going to go to your apps. We're going to open DB00. Your apps, DB01, Google AI Studio, your apps, these 2, and the last one in this set of 4. I don't want to go up to 4 in this case. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4 items. Okay. It's enough to be working. So you can see to allow the microphone. These are apps with a voice. Okay, in Bug Hub here, if you like, we can just go straight to Facebook. Find my brother called it, and some music as well. Go to House 6000. The new moon pool closing. And this is Skachin Rinpoche from a couple of days ago. Right, so that's all the Bug Hub stuff. We go back to the Microsoft Edge. And what we want to do is we want to find the Unicode for a bullet. Unicode bullet. A bullet point. So just like that. Then you can put it into a text file. So you have what we down. It's going to be better than having the letter A. Just trying to take advantage of the AI suggestions. Save that. I'll show you where it's saving to. Every day I make a folder with today's date. So you see, this is Dbug 2026, January 20th. Inside that I make a file called Dbug 260120, and also a file called New Start again. I'll show you that. It says configure, then copy and paste into Bugworld 2026 space. So this is what's called a CLI. I think it's either client or command line interface. So I set up a sort of simulation of a function inside the AI. So me and the AI came to an agreement that when I use this piece of code, that will be a CLI command to start the BBC book session. You have init, that's for initialize. You have a role here called admin X, and the name of admin X is Dbug X. You see you've got those two dashes there. And then this is the information that follows it. So this is like the, if they ask you for address and telephone number, this would be like address, and this would be telephone number, and this is the actual address information, and this is the actual telephone information. Similarly, we have off and on for, no, that's the other way round, sorry. Oh gosh, I can't remember now. Yeah, this, what role is Dbug X in? Dbug X is in the role of admin X, so this is the information. What role is Dbug P in? Dbug P is in the role of admin P. So when it initializes, I will be Dbug X. Well, I won't be Dbug X, I will be admin X. And I will be talking to the assistant, who usually, when the session is not open, not initialized, the assistant is in this bug world space. In this Bugworld 2026 space, the assistant, the AI assistant, is called Dbug P. But when we initialize a session, Dbug P takes the role of admin P, and Dbug X, which is me, I take the role of admin X. I'm going through this because I don't understand it myself. Then we have another call, which is the bug switch, which I created on my nephew's 18th birthday on the 7th of December 2025. It's a kind of birthday present for him. And I created it in this, but you don't know what I'm doing, in the perplexity. This is called a perplexity space. Okay. And we've got a secure key here as well, which we should change. Okay. So we need to put another one here. 4. This was the AI's suggestion. Sometimes it's not right, but we'll see if it likes that. So this is XX. I say that because we're still in January, so obviously if you go into February you have to change that to an 02. Well, these are just the notes. So there's 4 edits you have to do. You have to change the date here, the session number. There's 2. 3, you have to change the date here of your summary file. And here, here you have to change the date of the secure key. So I copy this, like that, edit copy, or right click and copy, and then I go to the perplexity. I've done this already. So you see I didn't put the secure key in there. I changed the date, I changed the session number. How did I know that it's 15? Because this is the last session number, and they go down like that. This is Dbug 2026, so we started on the 1st of January, we had the first session. Shall we try that secure key? I've never done it before. So we'll whack that. It doesn't look right. The formatting of that looks wrong to me, but okay. See what happens. It says, acknowledge Dbug X, you've initiated 7:15. So the session key. So if we're following this rule, right? We should have session key. where S is secret and K is key. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't really know how to use this CLI. We'll get there soon enough. Can you please? Right, so I type into the notepad away from the chat itself so I can check spelling and things like that. Can you please confirm for me that this is the correct format for CLI command? Alright. So this is what I'm going to ask Perplexity. X for user, P as assistant, B as bug for the bug switch, S is secret, and K is key. Alright, so we ask it. Good catch, you're very close. Oh. Right. What did I do wrong then? Oh, I see. Fully populated. What's the difference? So, here you have admin, human admin, AI admin, bug switch, no. Secret. Oh, I see, secret. Okay. explain in detail the format and different use cases for the parameter chain is for a function in Python. Explain in detail the format and different use cases for flag compared to part of the parameter chain. It's also called an argument, isn't it? Argument. Sometimes you can just put yes. You can't do it here because this hasn't come up. But if you took ES, then it comes up. Or you can say proceed. Sometimes you can just put a Y, really quick, Y, return, Y, return, Y, return, like that. Yeah, look. I'll copy that. And this is something called the 5-step clean shutdown sequence, is what I do at the end. So if we looked here at the start again, I'll put a little here in between this begin and close, in between there. But that's all for today. Thank you for a very productive session. BBC book dash session space dash dash close. And that means that in the log everything is nice and tidy. Okay, so we're going to ask for some explanation about flag, argument and part of the parameter chain. I know the parameters are connected with the functions in Python. So it's given a suggestion here, but that it's so easy to get taken off track though. I'm trying to show you the synchron apps. Please show me the variant of CLI command when bug switch is turned on mid-session for applying food. I'm changing his question into a command. Please show me. Hey, what are we talking about here? 3 different things. Flags and arguments. Again, let's do hash and space. And 3, combining both approaches. Because I do need to understand this. I've been hacking around without really knowing what I'm doing. And 2 is 2 here. Let's see how quickly you can write a course or a book just by logging your own learning journey. Let's just check that I've got the English syntax right. Please show me visually how these would appear in a command. Okay. You can skim over things, not really understanding what you're doing, right? So I'm not really stopping to think about it much of this. I want to get back to something else anyway. So let's go back to the synchron. Right, so they're all loaded up now. So this has gone funny, you see it's got A, B, C, D now. I quite like it though. Working in series. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Okay. So what we can do is we can copy this app in this state, put an A here, and module for bug tools, and save that. But the initial prompt for this whole chain of prompts and branching off and making copies, this all started with the prompt, please do not build anything, I just want to talk. Any files you build will be deleted. Of course it's not true, I'm keeping some of them. But you see, it's so random what it does. So you've got how to be really clever in the way that you direct its building. Okay, here we have another version of the synchron. So this is DB1, that was DB00, this is DB01. And this is the lab where we can put different bits of code in here, you see, and apply the debug tools. The debug toolkit is a set of functions in Python for manipulating binary code, playing around like that. This is an attempt I made yesterday to build the app. So these are all the files part of. See, here's you've got debug tools. Here at lab we just saw that toolkit debug, but they've put an E there. You see, I don't want the E there. And then we talk to, and I don't like this text down here, but the pop-up is quite nice and it closes nicely. But I don't like the fact that the text is cut off. And these kind of fiddly little things are very difficult to control, because when you ask it to move the text, it might suddenly change the shape of the box or change the font here. You know, it's very difficult to control it, which is why saving, branching off. So these are definitely in development. Can you hear me?
I am afraid I don't quite understand. To what are you referring?
Let's try just moving the text up. Move subtitles. Subtitle. Up a little, so I can see them. Please.
I see. Please do specific.
But please keep everything exactly the same as it is now. Change position of the subtitles by moving whilst keeping the font size the same without change. It's very frustrating and emotional with the AI. It does pick it up. If you want to, shout, then use please keep everything else exactly the same as it is now. Because of the way that the AI makes these random decisions from the context, it does understand that the user is frustrated or angry or pleased. It's very responsive to that. I'm going to now copy that before I use this prompt. I'm going to copy it into my notes because I'm a little bit dyslexic. I often get words the wrong way around, letters the wrong way around. So I just want to check. Move the subtitles up a little bit so I can see them, but please keep everything else exactly the same as it is now. So you can repeat yourself so long as you don't use any sort of ambiguity, in which case it will make a choice between the first expression and the second. So you can, as long as you're clear, you can repeat yourself for stress. So I'm saying moving them up a bit. Here I'm saying up a little bit. You can go into the code. I'll show you that in a moment. and actually change, so you can say on line such and such, change the font size to such and such. That's probably a better way to do it. But move them up a bit while keeping the colour and the font size exactly the same as it is now without any changes. That's right. I didn't have any typo errors there, did I? So we're going to send the prompt. If we could just get that up so that we could read it, but keep the circle, what they call the keep that in the center. But you couldn't have less space here at the top if you wanted. But it's so fiddly. It really destroys things that you've achieved, which you like. So fiddly to do these kind of layout adjustments. So another way to do it is just to use. Come on. Another way to do it is just to use the code. So allow the microphone. So we're now in OS DBO2, and you can see this was copied from, these were small copies, clones of each other. The text underneath the pulse ring smaller and change its position to about halfway between the pulse ring and the bottom edge of the pop-up window. So you see I'm trying to fiddle around with the format, but this is the code here, and as we go forward we're going to be working much more with the code. So you can see we've got quite a lot of files here, a lot of which I wrote last night. This is the README file. It's a good place to start. And this is in something called Markdown. So you saw this earlier when I was writing my notes. You see these hashes and you see these stars to format the text. Debug tools, a modular toolkit for studying, building and deploying intelligent agent systems. Now go back to the preview. You can see that this is different. It's DB01, which is incorrect. So this app is called it's got the wrong name because it's a clone from DB01. DB01, this app is called. And here I've got a README file which I sent to it. Okay. It's cooking, it's thinking. Yeah. It's propelling. So this is what they call natural language programming. You can see all of my prompts back up here. This is the structure of the project. So debug tools here at the top, and inside that you've got a folder called Debug Toolkit. And there you've got the README. The README, if you follow the line back up to the top, is in the root directory, which means it's right there. Here I'll show you in the code. These are folders. Everybody now knows about this when they use a computer, so they can close these folders. So it always defaults to having everything open. So you see all of the folders are now closed. That's a folder, that's a file, that's a file, that's a file, that's a folder. But the README is a file which is saved into the root directory. And we call that debug tools. So now if we go to the GitHub, these root directories, or these sort of top-level folders are called repositories in the GitHub, or repo for short. And these are all projects made in this way using the Google AI Studio, because I'm very new to any sort of programming or anything. So this is the Synchron system, and then so I save it here, and then I move it to an organization. I've got 3 organizations. You're only allowed to have one personal account, which is called Dbug Pro here. It's Synchron.org. It's got 5 repositories. I launched this on the 16th. So here it says 2026, January the 16th. It was my friend Nick's birthday, so happy birthday, Nick. Here it says save from Google AI Studio, transfer to Synchron.org. Step 2, back in at Google AI Studio, spawn a new module, and then repeat step 1, i.e. you save it from the Google AI Studio into your GitHub, and then you transfer it to Synchron.org. Step 3, back in Google AI Studio, prepare the seed, and then repeat step 1. So you use the Google AI Studio to make the seed. You've made a new module. Now you make a seed, and then you share it to your GitHub personal account, and then you transfer it from there into this Synchron.org. And then finally, step 4, back here in Synchron.org, you merge the module and the seed together. So that's what we were talking about at the beginning of this chat with with this code space, which comes from the GitHub. And you see, the co-pilot was being very flattering about it all. So here we have the CLI handshake rituals. Then we have the islands, the seed and the island. So different kind of modules. There's a seed module and an island module. The BIBA, the Biba, and the Babir are 2 systems for protecting some parts of the project, so people don't change it in a way that stops it from functioning properly. The Synchron operating system manifold. Okay. So what's next is probably to have some music and go to Facebook. Go to my chats. So we can clone a repository. So this here is the GitHub desktop tool, and it'll clone it into something called Visual Studio Code, VS Code. And here we have my chat with you, called it, because this is all a message for you. I will send you the video I've been making this morning. So that's the Dbug Hub. Okay, so what we did is we went to the GitHub on the internet, and we found this repository. Which had this name, 2026-0120. So it was made today. I must have made it earlier. So when I say I made it, I saved it from the Google AI Studio into my personal GitHub account. Now normally in the synchronous workflow I would then transfer it into the organization, so it's an organization repo, but in this case we have cloned it, and now we're going to open it in Visual Studio Code. I just checked that this recording is actually working. Yeah, you see, I can lift up Gajin Rinpoche and you can hear him cleanly while I do one or two things. Yes, I was just showing you that you can fade down and fade back up again, and you can change the settings for you can mix these two audio inputs like that. Of course you got a bit of an echo going on. If you want it clean, you can go like this. So I'm just showing you that you can open the README file when you go to the project. I'll show you a few things on Visual Studio Code. Here you can split this area, split the editor like that, so you can have two files open at the same time, close it just by that cross. So this README says very little work, and that's probably because there's very little in this repo. So that's what it looks like here. This is local, so it's here on my computer, because this is a desktop app from GitHub. This is not local, this is on the Microsoft Edge browser. Now, this was opened using this link. Right to the very beginning of my notes here. So I can send you this link, because this does seem to be working more or less. You can see it's got the wrong name, because it should be called 03 and it's called 1, but you can, and these aren't functioning, they don't open anything. This Explorer needs to be worked on more. This is the lab, you can play with that, and this is the talk to Synchron, which doesn't work. I don't think it works. Maybe I shouldn't send you. No, I won't send you this. Back to start here in the studio. Back to start. Rotates the place where you're building. So when you wanted to build a spaceship, and like Elon Musk, you can just say, build a spaceship like that, and click there to build. That's all you have to do. That's how I got started, right? And then once you've built a few of these things, they will be stored here, your apps. And this is where I've got Synchron OS DB 00, 01, 02, 03. I put a note in here, not saved to GitHub, you see. A copy of Synchron. So as I go along, I'm copying, and at some point I need to clean them all up. I don't really want to have so many different files here, but this is Dbug Pro in Microsoft Edge, but I've got other Microsoft Edge accounts here. Alright, enough of that. Enough of all of that. Yes, except this is not bad. This is the best I've got so far. Here's the README, and you can just scroll down and there it is. This is the README. So this is what I shared with the Copilot AI. So this is the best state I have of the whole Synchron OS project at the moment, and this is number A. So we're now ready to have a look at something called the Docker. Now this is a desktop app that I've downloaded and installed.
Shri, the Father, who is the refuge and protector of all beings of the three realms, and who is the essence of the blessings of the body, speech, and mind of all the victorious ones of the 10 directions and 3 times, together with your lineage of disciples, I pray. Grant me your blessings that I may realize the illusory body to be the new mankind. Grant me your blessings that I may realize the life energies to be the Sambhogakaya. Grant me your blessings that I may realize mind itself to be the Dharmakaya. Grant me your blessings that I may attain Buddhahood in this very life. With this supplication, the retinue dissolves into the Buddha. From the Buddha's forehead, throat, heart, and navel radiate white, red, blue, and yellow light, which dissolve into my 4 places, purifying the 4 expirations. I receive the 4 empowerment, and the seeds of the 4 kayas are planted. In the end, the Guru also melts into light and dissolves into me. The Guru's 3 secret and mighty doors merge inseparably.
Yes. This is the GitHub desktop app. And I'll show you that repo which we cloned locally. I'll show you why there was nothing there. And I'll show you how to delete it. So this was at 6 o'clock this morning. I attempted to save it from the Google AI Studio. This is the README. That's all it says. And you see there's nothing else here. There's no other code. Right. To download the code, you can just go there and download the zip. Here you have a CLI, you see. You can open it in Visual Studio, or you can open it in the GitHub desktop. So this is the GitHub desktop here.
The virtue of having perfectly practiced the glorious Guru, together with the virtue of having
So you
offered
see
praise and supplication,
here I downloaded it as a zip, and I opened the zip.
and they attain the state of the Guru, who is the whole of samsara and nirvana.
And I found, oh no, hang on, this is why the dates are important. Ah, this was on the 18th, right. So this is actually good. If I click here, it should open it. This is just local, but if I click there, it should open it in Microsoft Edge. I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I don't think it hasn't got the right environment. But look, here you've got the seed. This is the seed. It's got a workspace. It's got debug tools and pro tools in the workspace. It's got a readme. So this is what we call a module. So earlier we were looking at debug 01, debug 02, so you can carry on adding folders here in the root directory here. Just add more and more folders, and each one of those folders is called a module. This DB is a system, so we need to lock this so that people can't change it. I haven't figured out what needs to be locked and what needs to be open for users to, like configuration, for example. Some of these configuration files, you should be able to change. Here's the CLI handbook. Here's the merge protocol. So that gives you an idea of where I was heading, and that was on the. I think we close this now. What date was that? Anyway, this is a different system, but on the so many things going on. I don't want to work with it. Okay. Yeah. So here on the GitHub, this one is empty. So this is the 20th. So that's today. So I'll show you how to delete that. Right. Yeah. So the app doesn't work locally like that because it's not got all of the right things around it. So I'll close that. Sorry, I'm probably confusing you at this point because I'm getting confused too. We'll close this and we'll use the website to do it. Okay, so here we are on the website. I'll show you back to the profile. I said we were going to delete this. This is updated 1 hour ago, and we're going to delete it because it's empty. It's a bit of trash. And this is why these dates are so important. You can check the dates. 2026, January 20th, 6 o'clock, 10 minutes past 6. So we go to settings. You can set it as a template if you wanted to. That's what I usually do. Just click there and it becomes a template. You can add issues and discussions. So to delete it, you go down to the bottom. Here is where you transfer it. So if you wanted to transfer it, I'm not going to transfer it, but I'll just show you. If you wanted to transfer it, all you'd have to do is just transfer it to Synchron.org. It says the Synchron.org is available, and then you copy and paste that bit into here, and then you click there. So that's what you'd do it if you wanted to transfer it. But if you wanted to delete it, which is what we want to do. Yes, I want to delete it. Yes, I want to delete it. Then copy and paste the title of the repo into the box and delete it. It should say in pink at the top. I've got to use my GitHub mobile authenticator.
and may I strive with devotion for the purpose of others and myself. By the compassionate
Okay,
blessings of the
I've used
victorious
my
and
mobile
victorious
phone to
ones, whom I
type in
yearn
that
with
number,
intense devotion, and by
and
the
it says
power
your
of phenomenal
repository here
threshold
is
faith,
successfully
the
deleted,
infallible
so you see it's
spirit
not there
souls,
anymore.
may our wishes be fulfilled according to this
By
aspiration.
contrast, here we have
I
Synchron,
will practice Dharma consciousness from the dark blue soul
and
consciousness
although this isn't functioning, you can see
in
it's got
stage
a
1.
load of files here. It's not empty, right? And it's got a little bit in the README as well. So that's, I'm not transferring that to Synchron.org because that's something I need to get working. That's the link to it, but the thing doesn't work. Okay, now I'll go to Dbug
Until
Productions.
awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By
Dbug
the means of
Productions.
generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings.
And you see people here. Here you are. And you have direct access to these, right? And I'm going to take you away from the Mega Maggie.
May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness.
No
May they
permission.
be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Now we have code spaces, and we have some projects. Where are the projects? The repository default branch is main. There's a lot of stuff here. Here's projects, right? So we made a project together. You made a project here, and I can close the project. And I can open this project, or I can close it, or I can make a copy. This copy is a template.
The 5 meats are marked with bone, crown, flea, and eye. And the 5 necklaces with man, lamb, bun, town, and town. The wind of home emerges from the nostrils,
Okay.
blowing springs and lighting the fire, which melts and burns the substances.
So that's something for you to look at, because I know you can get yourself to projects. So this is project 4. And I'll share that with you on the Facebook.
Which merges with the silver. The three silver in the nimbus melt into light and dissolve into the nectar, thus to transform into an ocean of wisdom nectar.
Alright, I would stop at this point, since we're chatting here, but first we've got something important to do, which I'm only just ready for now, which is something called Docker. I've got some alerts here. What is a container? A few more in the learning. So this is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be learning more about the Docker. This is Dbug Pro on his personal account. Okay, and all of this stuff is free, you don't have to pay for anything. If people say, oh, give us lots of money, we'll do wonderful things for you, It may be true, but well, say hello.
According to the ranking order, these west petals of the coma with light tubes emerging from their vital plants and gas up wings and feathers.
Okay. So now it's time for me to make the video. So I'll fade out here and fade down the sound.